First at 4, women targeted on dating apps. What police are saying about a dangerous man they've taken off the streets. Also, the post-game handshake that turned into a hand slap. What's going to happen to Michigan's Juwan Howard? Some are cautioning against a rush to judgment here. And here's Paul.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jason, we still have that flood warning for the River Raisin in Monroe County, and we have more rain coming in tonight into tomorrow. So we'll talk about that and the 50s coming your way just ahead.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Afternoon, everybody. I'm Jason Colthorpe, and for Karen Drew today. First at 4, a Detroit man is accused of preying on women using online dating apps. Police say 27-year-old Marcus Edwards would bring a weapon when he met his victims, threaten them, rob them, and sexually assault them. Edwards was arrested last Wednesday. He's been charged in connection to 2 incidents. Other cases are currently under review by the prosecutor's office.
They are truly victims in this matter. They went to these locations to meet someone. This day and age, it's often that people meet on dating sites. That's the way dating is going these days. And, this is someone that took advantage of that system and preyed on these victims.
And police advise women who are going on an online date, men also for that matter, should meet them in public places with other people around. If you have further information on these crimes, please contact Detroit Police. A fire tragedy involving an elderly couple is under investigation on Detroit's west side. The damage to the home on Braille Street isn't obvious from the outside, but witnesses tell us smoke came pouring out of the house when firefighters broke down doors to get inside. The couple, both in their 80s, had to be pulled from the building. Relatives shared this photo of the husband, Paul Buttigieg, who has died now, we're told. His wife of nearly 40 years is in extremely critical condition. We'll hear from those family members tonight at 5. The leadership at Oakland Hills Country Club vowing to come back stronger than ever after last week's devastating fire there in Bloomfield Township. The club is waiting for a final insurance decision on whether the massive building is a total loss, but early indications are that it is. In case you're wondering, by the way, decisions about the rebuild, what it's going to look like, they've been pretty easy.
The rebuilt clubhouse will be a replica of what the iconic clubhouse was before the fire. So our membership and the National Golf Community really made that a very easy decision for us to make because of the outpouring of how special it is.
The club also trying to help workers whose jobs are affected and to determine what kind of services they'll be able to offer members during this rebuild. They expect that project to take at least 2 full seasons. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Livonia police investigating this stunning accident after a car smashes right into a home. This happened at Iowa and Arizona. It's right off Merriman. A husband and wife were both home at the time of this. We're told the husband was asleep on the couch downstairs and was just inches from where the car collided with their front door. They're both okay, by the way. Police tell us a 27-year-old Livonia man was behind the wheel. He's in the hospital right now. Not clear what caused the car to go off the road and into that home. Well, you don't have to be a sports fan to be talking about this confrontation involving the University of Michigan basketball coach Juwan Howard after yesterday's game at Wisconsin. It got very ugly. Kimberly Gill joins us for this discussion. And Kim, is there any word on suspensions yet here from this?
No, not yet. Good afternoon to you, Jason. The university hasn't offered a new statement since yesterday when it condemned any kind of physical altercation and promised to review the situation more thoroughly. Now, if you missed all the drama, it started with a verbal confrontation between Coach Howard and Wisconsin's head coach Greg Gard during the post-game handshake. Gard physically stopped Howard from moving past him, and the men exchanged words. Howard wasn't happy with a timeout taken by Wisconsin in the last few seconds of the game. Well, things escalated when Howard took a swipe at a Wisconsin assistant coach. So that led to actual punches being thrown by a few players and pushing as well as shoving. A lot of people have opinions on what should happen next, but the National Action Network Michigan chapter wants some careful and equitable consideration before a decision is made.
There have been too many people who have issued a rush to judgment. And in this rush to judgment, they have demonized the athlete as well as the coach, Juwan Howard.
Now, the National Action Network spoke in front of the home of the president of the University of Michigan. It says it does not condone violence, but wants a complete assessment of everyone's actions. Jason, we're also waiting to hear from the Big Ten. And by the way, Michigan lost that game yesterday, 77-63. Their next game is Wednesday night. Bernie Smilovitz will be here at 5 with the very latest. For now, we'll send it back to you.
Oh, yeah, a lot to sort out from all of that.
Sure.
We'll be watching. Thanks, Kim.
Sure.
A gorgeous sunny day out there, bumping the temperatures up a little bit. Let's bring in meteorologist Paul Gross to see what else is cooking in the forecast. Hey, Paul.
Well, we have a lot cooking, and we continue that flood warning down in Monroe, and that is going to be real important because I know a lot of you are real skittish right now because we have rain coming in tonight. And coming up in about 10-15 minutes, I'll show you the rainfall amounts on the model and also the projections for the river level there. But the river Raisin in Monroe until, well, really the whole week, basically for the entire week ahead, we're under that flood warning. But look at these temperatures right now for those of us not dealing with the flooding. Near 50 degrees, Grosse Ile, Taylor, Livonia, Canton, Metro Airport. Now, notice we have some low to mid 40s there, Sterling Heights and Mount Clemens. We're going to come back to that in a second. South zone, look at this again, near 50 degrees, Dundee, Deerfield, Lambertville. In our west zone, 49 in Ann Arbor, but 42 at Flint. And in our north zone, only in the 30s. Hey, how come you're not part of the party? In any event, temperatures this evening are going to be dropping for those of us in the 40s, dropping into the upper 30s. Then comes the rain, and then comes 50s for tomorrow. We'll talk about all that straight ahead.
The offer of a summit with President Biden has not stopped more aggressive rhetoric from Russia's Vladimir Putin. Late today, Putin decided to recognize the independence of two separatist regions in eastern Ukraine. That decision already raising tensions, as we're told the White House could be slapping Russia with new sanctions because of that move. Earlier, President Biden had agreed in principle to meet with Vladimir Putin if Russia stays out of Ukraine. The White House says Russia has been put on notice about the consequences of an invasion.
We have laid out in detail for the Russians the types of measures we will impose that will have an immediate impact on their economy and then a long-term impact on their capacity to marshal national strength. Russia understands that, the world understands that, and we're prepared to move forward if Russia attacks.
The big sticking point here in all of this, Russia wants promises Ukraine will not join NATO, something Western allies aren't agreeing with as of right now. Paula Tutman is in touch with local people who have connections in Ukraine, family members, and have obviously very interested in this. And Paula, obviously a lot of fear about what's going to happen next.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just kind of set the stage for you. I'm in Warren right now, and for instance, this is St. Josephat Ukrainian Catholic Church. Across the street, you have the Ukrainian Community Center, and you could consider this an artery of an emotional umbilical cord that stretches 5,000 miles to Ukraine. But in fact, this area, Metro Detroit and Ukraine, have a lot of connections.
Тепер неначе Фенікс відроджується з попелу. Ми покажемо вам Детройт.
This is Julia Didenko, a Ukrainian journalist and filmmaker who traveled to Detroit on a grant from the U.S. Department of State Foreign Press Center to film a documentary on the revitalization of a city. Her sole purpose was to use Detroit as a blueprint for her community in Ukraine as a way to rebuild after years of war and fighting for democracy.
В детройтський даунтаун повертається життя.
In this clip, she's talking about the revival of the Motor City and how to find parallels to borrow ways for a rebirth of Ukrainian cities like Donetsk and Donbass. Today, those dreams of rebuilding a city all but dashed with an impending invasion from Russia. And Julia speaks to us through her friend, Dr. Elena Daniluk, vice chair of the Ukrainian American Civic Committee of Metro Detroit. Because while Julia would like to talk about what's going on, at this moment, she is preparing to make a run from the very community she's been trying to save.
Right now, in Eastern Ukraine, situation is very worrisome and dangerous. My friends, they are packing for evacuation.
And the concern is multifold. A threat to a country with its own aspirations to be a democracy. A ground war that could kill and maim. A hybrid war in which if Putin crosses those borders and takes over Kyiv, the currency will change and Ukrainians will be brought to their knees one way or the other.
If currency would change, people would be scarce in supplies and also scarce in money. And that would prompt, and everyone needs to eat. And it's very easy to put people down on their knees if you withdrawing a food or if you just punishing them to being Ukrainians.
For a friend who dreamed of a strong democracy, who dreamed of taking Detroit's story to Ukraine to show what a comeback city looks like.
Кав'ярні і ресторани на будь-який смак.
The fear is that there will be no city to come back to in the very near future.
And those displaced people, probably they will never be back again.
Yeah, you know, thus far we've been talking to local folks here in the metro area. Coming up at 6, we're going to actually take you to Ukraine and talk to a woman who's hiding out in an apartment right there. She's trapped. She can't leave because her son is in the hospital with COVID, and so she can't evacuate with a lot of other people who are evacuating. She talks to us from her apartment coming up at 6. Back to you.
We'll look forward to that, Paul. And just terrifying to think that all the wealth you've accumulated could instantly be worthless. Paul, thanks.